Jake, what time is it?
I don't know, but you're probably gonna say...
It's adventure time!
Even from the very beginning, when shows are often, still kind of finding their feet, I think Adventure Time still knew what it was.
The show itself was kind of described as this kind of like bizarre world where there's just all these kind of magical creatures and people, and Finn was the only human in this world.
Whoa, dude. Why are you naked?
Ah!
But ultimately, deep down, he's kind of that inner 12-year-old, I think, in all of us.
Isn't this that show that everyone's talking about? I heard that this show is, like, really good for penguins.
Wang.
The overall, tone of the world was kind of figured out. We wanted it to be open in a way that, Dungeons & Dragons is open, where there's a certain amount of rules, but it needs to feel like a sandbox where the characters can kind of just explore and play.
Penn had a sincerity and a very idiosyncratic sensibility that he wanted to get across. So often he would kind of go for what felt real as opposed to what was like an easy gag. You're trying to make things honest, even if the situation and the characters are completely fantastical and unbelievable. You want it to feel like they feel things.
If you feel something, you feel something. It's all about the bumps in your heart. You can't stop the pumps and bumps, pumps and bumps, pumps and bumps.
I really wanted there to be a huge amount of depth, and I thought it was really exciting with these characters because they're so deceptively simple looking and deceptively simple caricatures. But there was a reality to Adventure Time, and that was the most exciting part to me, that this was really our world, but in the future.
Am I my feelings? Do I exist because I can't stop feeling?
Really, it's kind of wild, the fact that every character, and there's so many characters in the show, have this huge place that they've come from, so much backstory, so much that's gone on with them before the actual series or the Land of Ooo has even started.
Hello, Daddy. Hello, Mommy. It's so nice to be here with you now.
There were a lot of great things that Adventure Time pioneered, the way that the character stories were allowed to grow, change.
It's interesting when you grow up playing a character and they're kind of aging at the same time that you are.
Happy birthday, Mr. Finn Mertens.
That you naturally go through similar things.
You want a hug?
Yes.
Whoa, hold on, Mama. Okay, bro, tinfoil's on. You can hug now.
Characters are dating each other and breaking up.
I was in love with you, okay? And you didn't love me back.
Being dethroned or becoming a king or a queen.
Talk about life imitating art.
Getting married. Moving out, getting older.
20s are for regretting, 30s are for being dignified, and 40s are older than I ever want to be.
That was definitely the first time I'd been on a show where the characters were sort of living in real time and changing and evolving, and the world was expanding.
Hey, Ice Queen, I really liked your story. The imagery was tight.
Can you believe it was my first draft?
No way!
I had never seen a show that took so much pride in the individual voices that were storyboarding the episodes. The characters get to act different, be different, speak different, depending on the hands and the voice of the artists who made them. That was something that I saw Penn would be accepting of that and help foster that.
Oh, I know about open door philosophy.
What's that? You just say yes to stuff all the time?
Pretty much.
The DNA of the show is Penn, but I think there was an openness to the crew and to the show that allowed everyone that worked on it to put little pieces of their DNA in it as well. So it really feels like sort of a hive mind of very brilliant, creative people, which is, I think, really unique and really special.
Ugh, a glass of delicious nourishing water for my lady. Ah!
Man, I don't have the patience for this animation junk. Whoever does this must have no life whatsoever. Oof! Why did I do that?
Adventure Time is a storyboard-driven show, meaning writers write a structure for a story.
Printing.
And then the storyboard artists take that and embellish it and turn it into something that's a full story. They write all the dialogue, and they come up with all the drawings.
Time to write. Gonna make this Trashy.
And then a revisionist comes after and sort of helps facilitate a lot of the things. So we basically go through the entire board, make sure that the continuity from scene to scene is correct, make sure that the characters are drawn correctly.
How come you never talked about it before? It sounds cool.
Really? Well, I thought you'd say it was for nerds who do not know how life is outside of the nerd universe.
As new and as modern as Adventure Time is, it's classic cartooning. But a lot of people look at modern animation and they assume somehow it was drawn into a computer. It's true that it's colored digitally, but every single drawing of Adventure Time was done on a piece of paper.
Hey, man, that's not bad.
It's not that great.
No, it's good, man. Maybe, though, add some shading around where the head shadows the neck. Make sure it's obvious where the light source is coming from. It'll help give the drawing more volume and depth.
Most of the board artists, almost to the end, still worked on paper and used Post-its and pens and real media. And that was, even at the time, that was going out. Adventure Time and Regular Show were sort of the last shows at Cartoon Network that used paper.
Whoa, you're really good at art, man.
A lot of the stuff that gives the show its look is from the fact that it is like handmade and handcrafted. And I would say a lot of care has been taken to make sure that the look of the show feels like it was made by real people.
There is sort of this romanticism to just drawing it right there. You can kind of see it where like rough drawings are still a little more interesting than really polished drawings.
There's one of them who looked like a wet uncle. Nah, that's not right.
So that paper copy was really special, and if it got lost, everybody would go crazy. One time we had found like half of the board like in the recycle bin, and we were like, oh no!
Tell me a story.
Once upon a time.
No, I already heard that story before.
But you've already heard all my stories before.
Make me a new one, Finn. A new story.
Okay.
I think all the main storylines still come from a very natural place that's relatable for a lot of people. It usually stems from just emotions. And even though it's played out in this extreme, crazy world, it's really easy to relate to those characters because they feel so real.
I thought that if I shut everything out and just focused on work, it would all be okay.
All the writers are sort of coming from personal experience. Often it'll just be like stories from our lives and experiences that we've had. Other stories could start with just an emotional core, something that you want to explore, like vulnerability or not fitting in.
Hey, this looks kind of personal.
I think once in a while we did like story games where we'd all draw something and pass it on and draw something, pass it on, that kind of thing.
It's time to start the play. For the glory!
Huh?
Hey, were you asleep?
We were playing one of these games where you put everyone's character's name in a hat and you pull them out. And we pulled out Ice King and Marceline. And there was an episode where Ice King's singing the Fries song.
Daddy, why did you eat my fries? I bought them, they were mine.
And we're like, why is he singing that song? We've never seen them together. And we started like trying to brainstorm an idea. And from that came this whole backstory of Ice King, when he was Simon, was taking care of Marceline.
Hey, Marcy, I wrote a song for you. Yeah.
Your songs are so good.
I also had a lot of ideas about what I wanted from the female characters and the flaws I wanted them to be able to have.
Ha! Looks like you aren't as perfect as you thought. Guess you can't judge me anymore.
I never said you had to be perfect.
All right. Time out, guys.
I feel like I brought a lot of more pop culture influences to the group. I really love romantic comedies, and I think I referenced Sabrina the Teenage Witch or Buffy.
There's serious witchery afoot here. I just now heard that a bunch of vampires come back to Ooh. I am the guy who hunts those guys. Show me all your vampires.
I was curious about Marcy and Princess Bubblegum and Lady Rainicorn, and I would often approach episodes from that perspective.
Lady, are you okay? 걱정 마세요. 저 완전 괜찮아요.
I would often try to think of, who's a character that we haven't seen in a while. I wonder what it would be like if LSP and Marceline hung out for an afternoon.
I like your vibe, dude. You don't take anyone's sass.
You're bad, and I like it.
There's an episode where Ice King's looking for his phone and he pulls his pants off the floor and he finds his phone in his pocket.
Please, please, please. No new messages.
That was based on my real life.
In terms of exploring something in a cartoon, I hope that I helped bring a certain level of realness to the characters.
Look, I don't care if you're being a jerk to me, but nobody messes with cake.
So we were all working to do that, but it's something that I was really excited about.
I am a real boy! With a wings and a halo!
I think early on, I would draw like very on model. Penn had done these drawings and I would try to match them as closely as I could. That was also part of the show. His drawing style specifically was kind of born out of napkin drawings.
Adam was much better draftsman than Penn or I. He would take like Penn's like silly napkin doodle and like animate it fully, and it was like, what? You can move that stuff like that? And it was kind of amazing.
Grodd's pretty good at drawing.
Kind of my default now, whenever I sit down to draw, is either Finn, Jake, or BMO, without even trying. Maybe Jake was like the most fun to draw just because by his nature, he was really malleable. So there was like a billion right ways to draw Jake.
I never went to art school or anything, so I kind of just learned on the job. I can draw Jake really well because Jake can stretch. So if you start drawing Jake and it looks like it's off model, you're like, oh, he's stretching.
Okay, well, you can take your weird body issues and tuck them somewhere private.
I remember the first time I drew Ice King, I drew him and he actually had volume. Like you could tell he was round like a bell. And I was really excited when I turned the board in. I said, can I keep this page that has this drawing? Compared to the people that work on the show, it wasn't a good drawing, but for me, it was an amazing drawing.
Ah, my winter body! I was gonna start up on the elliptical again, but I got depressed, okay? Don't look at me!
I like to do animation inside the show. I like to add like fun, interesting sequences, make them like weird and crazy. For instance, like the mushroom clouds from the Mushroom War, and you see that. Oh, they're like these green skulls that explode and move up out of the screen. One of the things I'm always the most proud of when it comes to Adventure Time is to cut a woman's hair. When Finn takes off his hat for the first time, we'd never seen his hat come off.
Check this out!
I wanted to animate something grand and sparkly, and that was something I had a lot of fun doing.
I knew you couldn't resist me, Finn.
I did not realize that Finn had this luscious L'Oreal Rockstar hair. You know, I didn't know what hair he had because he just always had his hat on. And then the first episode where he takes it off, it's just like, you're like, oh my gosh, whoa, where did that come from? There's so many things like that in the show that you just shocked and surprised in the most pleasant way.
What your mama say, she say? Say what?
Adventure Time vernacular, like all of the slang of Adventure Time is, you know, a big part of how fans experience the show.
Hello!
Hello? Oh, butt traps. BMO, Jake's acting news. Trespassers get killed mad quick like Zap Zap. Oh my straw! I got a weird feeling in my fat basket.
Right on, right on.
I don't think I'm totally scooping what you're pooping.
You just like saying poop that jacks with my brain.
So when Penn was developing the storyboard early on, he was developing this ongoing gag where the character is saying these terms like mathematical, and I contributed the word rhombus, and I contributed the word oxymoron.
Give everyone some milk, then get the math out of here.
Schmeltown, dude. That guy's gonna dingle our bones into tapioca pudding.
Finn, that is gross, man. Don't use language like that. Oh, my cheek meat.
Freaking bing bong.
Finn saying, you know, schmaltzow and mathematical, what the cabbage, you know, stuff like that.
I like some of the more obscure ones too. Slam a cow.
Slam a cow. That was tops.
I like wands are for wimps. I don't know why that one stuck with me.
Oh, clam balls.
I hear buku spooku legends about that place.
Buku spooku, you say? Dude, what the Bjork? That sounds grizz as nuts.
What the butt fuzz?
These guys will crack up your sacrum.
Gross.
I always find myself saying things from the show. My Marceline lines that I love are, calm down, weenies.
You two are pretty hardcore. I can appreciate that.
And, it's over, you psycho!
I said I'm out of here.
Well, no rest for the sexy.
That's not the expression.
My orange juice is coming out.
He was acting all choco loco. Hey, man, I can't analyze everything that comes out of my mouth. Billy? Billy? Billy!
Yep, it's me.
Man, I'm such a huge nerd for you.
Ooh, Adventure Time characters. Okay. Oh, man.
Meow, assassin, 2nd class.
Susan Strong?
Rattleballs!
Hi, I'm Bun Bun.
Fiona, we got trouble. My tail is totally frizzing out.
Yowie, wow.
She's beautiful.
Well, then go over and talk to her.
Adventure Time has so many great characters. There's hundreds.
Gunther, what is your damage today?
You have met your match.
Oh dear.
Some of my faves are definitely Finn, obviously.
I knew it! Who's the man? Who's the 17-year-old man? Woo!
Finn, heads up! Finn, I'm helping!
Finn, I know where your sock is.
Finn is just such a great character.
I'm a tough tootin' baby, I can punch in your buns. Punch in your buns, I can punch all your buns.
He starts out as this 12-year-old that's just wide-eyed, and everything's very black and white. It's either good or evil.
Shoot, yeah. I'll slay anything that's evil. That's my deal.
But then as the show goes on and as Finn gets older, as he starts going through teenagehood and have to deal with things that are more serious and aren't so cut and dry.
Dad.
Uh-oh. I know that look.
When you fled the scene like a ding-dong ditcher in the night.
Listen, Finn, no answer I give you will be satisfying. Besides, it was like 40 years ago.
I'm 16.
And he always wants to do the right thing, but he gets so caught up with these situations that are very complex.
I'm the one who's sorry. Ice King hasn't been picking fights with you. It's been me all along.
What?
He makes a lot of mistakes along the way, but he always deep down still has that desire to do the right thing.
Heroes risk everything for their friends. Although I admit you're more Jake's friend than mine.
And I think that's what makes the show so great in general, is that it doesn't feel like a kid's show at times necessarily. It just feels like a great series with really good, fleshed out characters, and Finn is one of the best.
Finn's just the best guy to do bro stuff with. Like lying on the grass and talking to bugs or baking chocolate chip cookies. Finn's just a good friend.
But besides Finn, Jake, cute and cuddly, can't go wrong.
I've got a crush on Jake.
Jake has always been like one of my absolute favorite characters.
Jake, I missed you, bro!
Jake!
Don't ever leave me again!
Finn, booty me!
He's just got it down. He's everyone's best friend.
Coming. It's okay, man. I'm Jake. Jingo! Jingo! You're magic!
Jake has taken many awesome shapes.
What the? Dude, you shape changed to look like me?
I love the Jake suit.
Stretchy arm power!
Or he encapsulates Finn and Finn becomes more of like a superhero, but he doesn't take any of the damage because it's literally Jake that's getting punched, basically.
Whoa! Random cowboy, whoa!
I love the juxtaposition of this amazing power that he has.
I'm not a mutant. I'm magic.
And that sometimes the way he uses it is so incredibly mundane, but it's so great.
Ow, toasty buns!
Jake is the dog I think everyone wishes they had.
That's my sweet neck roll.
I love the little philosophical bits of wisdom that Jake can come up with.
Dude, sucking at something is the first step towards being sort of good at something.
He's really wise beyond his years. He's not just always eating sandwiches and farting in pockets.
Sup, Jake?
So my favorite character, I think, changes day to day. I like Ice King, and I like Finn, and I like Princess Bubblegum.
Banana guards!
No.
Obey my command!
I think that was an important thing, was getting her on her own sort of trajectory away from just the idea of a princess.
Bring it, you darn pumpkin munchers!
Like, what does that mean, and how would she act on her off time?
I lost my hat, lost my home, lost my people. I can't even keep darn varmints out of my pumpkin patch.
So that was really interesting to write.
Why didn't you tell me you got throne jacked? I gotta hear it from that wax fraud.
I didn't get jacked. I quit.
On sort of a base level, I love that she's a scientist. I love that she's a very smart and capable ruler.
I have been my own boss my entire life. I've built my own lab. I've created freaking life forms.
Okay, but I also love how complex she is, how she sort of messes up and can sometimes toe the line into becoming a little bit of a tyrant.
Candy citizens, we are going to war.
Wait, I think I'm ready to pop it.
There's so many like minor characters that I really like.
Ricardio at your service.
I would say probably Magic Man.
Magic Man!
It's funny because Magic Man kind of started out as being just this like jerk, and then he gained a lot of depth, but then his actual personality didn't really change.
Magic Man! My sandwich!
It's got my germ, so it's mine now.
No!
My favorite Adventure Time character I think it's tree trunks. I'm a tree trunks guy.
Now come on over. I baked y'all an apple pie.
That voice.
I'm just a cute little elephant. I'm not cut out for adventuring.
It's deceptively cute and like adorable because as you find out through the series, Tree Trunks has been through it all. She's like sassy and there's plenty of like steamy references. And you're like, what do you mean by apple pie?
You boys better stick around if you want a bite of my apple pie.
I kind of love Lemongrab.
Unacceptable!
I think Lemongrab's hilarious.
You made me! You're my glob!
One of my favorite characters that I like, I guess Pep Butt.
I'm just a harmless old butler.
Quit being silly, Peppermint Butler.
Or any character where I have, you know, sort of half a chance of being that character. Maybe the Cosmic Owl.
Water butt. I am the water butt. I have a water body. Oops. I will never know the pleasures of skinny dipping.
Before I worked on Adventure Time, I was developing a pilot for Cartoon Network that had a character that was very similar to BMO. And I dropped that project to work on Adventure Time, and eventually we kind of turned that character into BMO. And so BMO kind of came from that. A lot of what's great about BMO just comes from Nikki's voice acting, but Nikki made it into like the most lovable character in the show to me.
I really love BMO. BMO is just perfect.
I think the most fun to kind of write was BMO.
No flipping way!
BMO's my favorite, because BMO is BMO.
Finn! Jake!
What's shaking?
You will not believe what just happened.
BMO is this cute, sweet, adorable little video game, yet she's almost like a baby to Finn and Jake.
Oh, please.
But she's almost like a den mother, too.
Forever young.
She just makes you feel good.
Yay, BMO! Yeah, yeah!
Yay, BMO!
Yay!
Yay, BMO!
I love Lumpy Space Princess, who is played by Penn Ward, the creator of the show.
Yeah, whatever. Just don't mess with my phone again.
LSP is just an amazing character, so funny.
Oh my glob!
Does every woman say that she relates most to Lumpy Space Princess? Quite possibly.
The men out here will not leave me alone! They just want me for my lumps.
I definitely relate pretty hard to her. I feel like she just says everything that you wish you could say out loud.
Maybe he'll be a steaming hot babe with huge money.
I want to be as confident a woman as Lumpy Space Princess is.
Woo, my dress! Bumps.
LSP is just the sassiest queen I have ever seen.
I'm gonna be so hot! So freaking hot!
The things that she says and the way that she presents herself is just so funny.
Yeah, everyone needs to know that when I work these lumps, no man is immune to their influence.
She's very confident in one hand, but then she's very insecure in the other hand.
I want surgery to make my body hot. I know I'm already pretty smoking, but I bought this swimsuit, so I need a swimsuit body. Huh? Oh, what? Whoa.
We transformed you into a cyborg fighter. That's hot, right?
And I think a lot of girls can relate to that.
LSP, you don't need a mirror to know you look good. You're beautiful on the inside. Like your brain and stuff.
My favorite Adventure Time characters are Lumpy Space Princess and Ice King.
Hey, I'm here.
Finn, get rid of her.
What?
She's too loud and lumpy.
They're both really funny, and you feel bad for them.
I like smooth princesses. Smooth.
I can be smooth.
They can behave badly, but you don't dislike them.
There. How's that? Better.
All the characters are very complex, and there's a lot of gray areas in all of them. And of course, a really good example of that is Ice King.
It's about so much more. Come back to my place and I'll explain everything.
And that his crown is making him crazy. I have the crown here.
The crown is going bananas.
It's making Ice King act super weird in the real world.
And in that way that only Adventure Time can, he's both light and funny and also kind of dark and tragic all at the same time.
The last time I saw Gunter, I was yelling at him for pooting. But it wasn't Gunter who pooted. It was me!
Hey, man, you can't blame yourself.
Everybody poots.
And I love his character, how he just kind of starts the show as this villain, more or less. And then throughout the series, he becomes more like this kind of weird roommate type character.
Geez, you couldn't wait 2 seconds?
Ugh, why are you stinking up our house?
Didn't you get my text? It said I'm staying with you guys. Oh, didn't go through.
And I just love the transition of his character, and he ends up being just, you know, one of their friends, basically.
I think any character that I had some hand in writing, I can relate with. Ice King, eventually we saw his like tragic backstory.
Ladies are drawn to bros with tortured pasts. And I've got a way tortured past. I think. I don't really.
All these inner workings of his mind and his emotions, and also just weird quirks about him that were kind of fun to delve into.
These are my tubs and skins.
A lot of that actually was inspired by just a random element that was drawn into the background in the pilot. Someone drew a drum set into the Ice King's lair. I think there was a pair of underwear on the ground too.
Oh, did baby have a bad dream? Let me get you a bottle.
And it was just like a funny like little addition, but it meant a lot because there was like something going on in his life that he was like practicing drums. Like that's not what a villain normally does, you know? And so we kind of started exploring that in the series more and more.
I was just stepping to you, girl, with my intellectual wizard politics.
It's like a real pickup artist style Ice King. It was really interesting to me. Kind of cute and annoying.
They call me the Ice King. I also make ice.
I had the honor of doing a lot of Simon episodes. I really loved working with the partially turned early Simon Ice King, and I liked him as a vulnerable person.
The more we were having fun with him, where we started to see his backstory and who he was.
Why'd you let him degenerate into this pathetic clown character? He used to have more of a silver fox thing going on with his hair and those cute glasses.
Just sort of opened up a huge door for where we could go with that character.
Now you know my secret. You know that I used to wear glasses.
And it felt great to sort of be rooting for him at the end.
You are the only one who can stop this. Betty's up there trying to harness the power of Gulb. If anyone can do it, it's you.
Sounds great. I'm gonna save the world.
Marceline, get out here quick! What's going on?
I definitely relate to Marceline the most. We were all kind of developing Marceline's backstory together. It was very interesting why she was the way that she was.
I hunt vampires because of you!
Because of me?
Someone who acted so cool and aloof that there would have to be a lot going on under the surface.
Marceline has evolved so much over the series. I had no idea how much depth was to this character and this whole life that she had lived.
You're all grown up.
She's like 1,000,000 years old.
He's just kidding. I'm only 1,000.
And still looking good.
When I saw the I Remember You episode, me and my entire family cried because it was just so touching.
Duh, you don't remember anything, do you, Simon?
What, man?
Why do you even come see me when you don't remember me? You don't even know who you are.
It's so tragic, and to have that be in a children's show is really just pushing the boundaries to storytell.
Seriously, Simon, please don't go.
My fearless Marceline.
Ouch.
You see, I have to go now. Goodbye, Marcy.
Simon!
Once a tiny door opens, there's 1,000,000 more questions that you want to ask. And so I still, to this day, have questions about Marceline's past.
When I became a vampire, I was just a messed up kid. Now it's 1,000 years later and I'm still messed up. I don't want to spend eternity like this.
I relate to Marceline a lot. Her relationship issues with her parents is something that I can relate to really well.
Honey, something weird might just be something familiar viewed from a different angle. And that's not scary, right?
Being adopted and sort of having these two sets of parents where I came from and all that has always been kind of cloudy in my mind. And so I think she and I share that.
This is my daughter. I am proud of my punk daughter.
It is weird that me and my dad play father and daughter on the show.
I'm Martin Olson. I play Lord of Evil, or Hudson Abadir, Olivia's father, in real life and on the show.
I want you to be proud of me.
Baby, of course I'm proud of you.
Dad.
And your friends,
They're all right.
Penn knew my dad. My dad's worked in animation a bit, but he also wrote this book called Encyclopedia of Hell, where he dictates the book pretty much in first person as the devil.
How dare you chumps trespass here?
We just want to go home, man.
No one leaves the Nightosphere!
And so when I was booked to play Marceline, Penn said to my dad, well, you already know how to play the devil pretty well. I want you to sort of play that same entity in our series.
I've got business to attend to anyway, sucking up all the souls and ooh. Stomping on and sucking their souls, stomping on and souls.
I think he really plays Hunson Abadir so well.
Dad, stop.
All right. I don't want to embarrass my little girl.
Dad, I'm 1,000 years old.
Yes, you are, sweetie. Daddy's little monster.
Cubby, is there anything we can do to help?
You could talk to Party Pat.
Party Pat?
He's our chief.
It's funny because I became a character sort of in Adventure Time with Party Pat. It's kind of like a joke on me.
It's pretty important, actually.
You know who I am?
You're Party Pat?
So I'm an introverted person for the most part, and I kind of don't go to parties. And then also the outfit, where I kind of always wore a cardigan because it's always cold at Cartoon Network, and a hat that my dad had given me, and then this leather pouch thing that I used to carry around Post-its and pens and stuff.
Before you talk to the chief, you must party with the chief. Okay, welcome back to the program. We're talking with my special guest, Finn the Human.
Hello.
I was 12 years old when I first got the role and we started recording.
I'm gonna flip out!
Definitely pre-voice change, and then I think throughout the first season, my voice started changing, and so all of Finn's like screams and voice cracks when he's screaming were definitely not intentional in the beginning.
This is gross! Man, I can't eat this!
But it gave a nice natural tone to the character.
No, Jake! Turn around! Turn around!
I never heard you scream like that before. You were all like, no!
I think they ended up loving that and just kind of going with it.
Well, that's sort of cool.
Sort of cool? This is radical!
Woo, yeah!
Adventure Time was the first show that I worked on where it was the whole cast was in the booth together. It was kind of intimidating at first.
And you have much more natural reads because you're quite literally playing off somebody else. And I think it really leans into the feel and the tone of Adventure Time because it does feel so off the cuff at times and feel very natural and very just like it's all happening on the spot all together. And I think that really made one of the most fun work environments to get to actually work with your other castmates and get to know these people and grow with them over the years. And it becomes family, especially when you're going for like, what, almost a decade or something like that.
297 to 309.
I never had that on another series, and it really does show, especially for this series where at the core, it's a show about adventure and wizards, but it's really about friendship, and so that made us be friends.
That just makes for the best kind of experience, and it's very not the norm.
Being able to work with John and Tom, who are these heavyweights in this industry, it taught me a lot.
He's a big evil alien stuck in a penguin!
And Tom even, I think specifically, I remember entire like little bits and scenes that was just him rambling on in the Ice King voice.
Say, where's Gunter, my beautiful child that I love?
It was the funniest thing in the booth just to see him do that. And those guys come from those stand-up comedy backgrounds and they're so quick-witted.
Jake's voice is like my voice with a hug around it.
I do a little bit of LSP impression, a little bit of an Ice King impression.
Gunter, are you blowing it up in here?
But when you have something that's more of a character, like an Ice King, oh, Gunter, what are you doing? Like, it's a little bit easier to do a little bit of an impression of it. Or something like Lumpy Space Princess, obviously, because you're just being a kind of a, oh my God, like a valley girl, like, oh, no, Jake, kind of like, bah.
No, that's not how I sound! Read it in a better voice!
I think that's the extent of the AT impressions that I can do.
I I realized Adventure Time was such a huge pop culture phenomenon pretty much when I started seeing the merch everywhere, and it became this inside joke, cool thing where no matter where I went out, I would see somebody with a Finn hat or a BMO backpack, and it's just like, wow.
With Adventure Time, I had no idea what to expect, but then I think the first time we went to San Diego Comic-Con and I, walked out on the panel, there was just this sea of fins, and I was like, whoa, what the heck? Like, okay, people like this show. This is like a big deal. Even before there's like actual costumes, like whole families were making their own homemade costumes, from the dad and an Ice King to the mom and like a Princess Bubblegum, like the son and daughter and like a Finn and a Marcy. And then like there was this one family that had their little baby in like a Lumpy Space Princess costume that was the cutest thing you've ever seen in your entire freaking life. And it hits on so many levels. It's not just like kids, it's like it's everyone. It's everyone from 2 to 92. And I think that's such a testament to the show that like it really works on so many levels.
We were at a con and we were in Melbourne, and the word was getting around that there was an Adventure Time house.
Yeah.
And he and I are like, we gotta go.
Yeah.
So we showed up, we banging on the door, like, hello?
And then he like stuck his head out the window.
He opened the window. He's like, can I help you, mate? And we're like, hi, I'm the voice of Jake the dog, and this is the voice of Finn the human. We're here, we just wanted to say hi. And he was just like, I'll be down in a minute.
He's like, and then he was like, let me just put my pants on.
Yeah. And he came down, because he was like shirtless in the window. He was like, oh, yeah.
Oh my God.
And then, yeah, it was so funny. But then he came down and we took a picture with him. But that was like,
that was super funny.
That's a trip, man.
We have to leave, like, right now. Wait, can Finn come with us? We're kind of a package deal.
When I went to Korea, I was like in a bookstore with a giant Finn and Jake. There were like pencil cases with like drawings of Marceline that I did. I went and visited Taiwan. My friend was telling me that they love Jake's Cantonese accent. It's really funny.
Yes!
I was like, wow, Jake is really, really popular. It was just really stunning how the idea that just around the world, people are watching this.
Yeah, I think when Tyler, the creator, was singing about Adventure Time, that was like a big deal. Everyone was really excited about that. That felt like we had crossed over. We weren't so obscure anymore if someone was singing it. I didn't even know who Tyler, the creator was. Everyone was like, Tyler, the creator, singing about Adventure Time. And I was like, who's that? But I'm old too, so if I did know who he was, then it would not be cool.
There were so many moments. There was the episode where Rebecca wrote the song Bacon Pancakes. And just seeing that blow up the way that it did, like, it was everywhere.
Fans, like, making a remix of a song. It's like, oh, they're nerding out on Adventure Time. I can relate to that. Somebody, like, singing Bacon Pancakes who's, like, a movie star. And it's just, like, so crazy.
And then I would say the other time was watching the Marvel movie Deadpool and seeing Deadpool have an Adventure Time watch, just sitting in the audience being like, wow, that was incredible.
Yeah, it's cool to see stuff in the real world kind of from the show. I think I've seen a lot of electrical boxes with like Jake graffitied on it. And I don't know if those exist. Maybe that's just Photoshop, but like it's cool to think that somewhere out there is this weird looking dog. And most of the people who pass it are like, what is that?
I'm just a regular dog, see?
I feel like I just turned around one day and I like saw people had like painted Jake on a mailbox, or the most strange like small reference to him was in like in this obscure store, and it felt like it just like seeped into culture seamlessly, like an invisible force, and then it was everywhere.
Get ready for the ultimate prize. Watch her lips pout before your eyes. Never in your life would you dream of this.
And then there are like bigger, more dramatic moments, like the first Emmy we won. It was like the 6th time we'd been nominated, so we never really expected to win. We had kind of talked out a plan, like if we won, whoever was accepting would run up there so they could start giving the speech right away, because we had noticed like this timer, it started going as soon as they called the name. So I was like, I bolted up the aisle, ran up on the stage, grabbed the Emmy, and I was ready to start giving the speech, and then I realized they were still reading off all the names. I ended up saving no time and just kind of staring down at the audience while I was waiting them to finish the names. I think it was an intense experience that was hard to keep a distance from, because you knew it might not happen again. So it felt like this is your shot, because there might not be an opportunity like this, because I think we even knew at the time Like the opportunity seemed rare.
It's the best first job anyone could ask for.
Woo!
I'm so lucky. I feel so lucky. It really challenged me as an artist and a writer. It was completely life-changing, and I got to work with, I think, the most interesting artists and writers that there are.
I was very, very excited to come onto the show because I was a fan of the pilot and I loved Penn and I loved working with him, and it was a real journey. I think when the show ended, I sort of looked back at who I was when it started, and I felt like a different person.
I think some of the best memories probably are like working really late with Penn and Adam. It makes me think about like old war buddies. It was the hardest time, just like being half asleep and like trying to draw and coming up with ideas that we knew were going to be like on national television. You know, it's like a really surreal kind of experience.
Okay, time for a break. Who wants lemonade?
Working on Adventure Time shaped me as an artist in a huge amount of ways. I think I was incredibly introverted and shy when I started working there, and it taught me how to talk to people, which is, I suppose, not the lesson for an artist, but was great for me because it's such a collaborative process. And just like hanging out with everyone and having this community was really lovely.
I gotta get a picture of this. Wish I had a camera. I'll just try to remember it good. And perfect.
I'm gonna miss a lot about Adventure Time. I think mostly just getting to see my friends. The friendships that we all made is what I'm gonna miss the most. Obviously, we still keep in touch. Just being a part of something that was so creative and special and different, that inspired so many other people in TV series, it's gonna be hard to let go.
Can I get a hug?
Let me get in there.
Oh, Jake, hug me tighter.
Okay.
I love you too, BMO.
Maybe we could all learn a thing or two from those sandwiches. Thank you.
It's kind of a cool experience to get to grow up on a show and get to grow up playing a character for this amount of time, because they really do become just a part of you and become such a big part of your life.
I love you, man.
Me too, man. Okay, I'm okay.
You know, getting to be the character for the whole run, every single episode, kind of having this alter ego that's gonna, you know, live as long as you will and kind of outlive you probably in some ways is kind of crazy.
We would not be a success unless it was for you guys, because I didn't get it at first. I think a lot of us didn't get the show, but you guys got it. And because of that, we had the longest running series on Cartoon Network for a hot minute, and I'm just forever, forever grateful for you.
Ring ring. Hello? Just want to say that I love you. I love you too. Goodbye. Click.
The success is really dependent on if people like the show and they love it and they watch it. And you guys really liked it and really loved it and really watched it. And so we had this extremely long, awesome run.
I love you, 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 I love you.
Thank you for loving the show. Thank you for watching. And thank you for dressing up as every single character ever made. And there's like hundreds of them.
What am I gonna do without my besties around?
All your cosplays, all your fan art, and just thank you guys for being a part, really, of such an amazing phenomenon, because you guys kind of made a lot of this happen. And so, thank you.
Come along with me and the butterflies and bees.
We can wander through the forest and do so as we please.
Come along with me to a cliff under a tree. We can gaze upon the water, an everlasting dream.
gotta tell you, and I love the show.
Okay, bye. Have a wonderful time.
It's over, you psycho! But I don't want it to be over.
「あなたの